Because we get the little drop-down filter arrows by default in a table, it makes life a lot easier when you then come to sort your data or filter your data. If we wanted to sort by any one of the given columns, perhaps by last name, we would click in the little drop-down arrow and choose Sort A to Z, and my data would then get sorted in alphabetical order of surname. Obviously, the matching rows would stay with it. So the correct first name would stay with the last name, correct middle name would stay with the last name, correct email address would stay with the last name, etc. That's effectively a given. I don't need to highlight the table in order to do that. Once I've then sorted by the last name, I then get this little up arrow there. You can just see that to say it's sorted alphabetically by last name. Perhaps I'd like to go sort Z to A, and you see the arrow changes direction. I could then perhaps choose any one of the other columns, and then that becomes the primary sort column. Now obviously, using the little drop arrows to carry out your sort means that you can only sort by one column at a time. So if I went by city, they're then in city order but not in email order. If I need to do effectively a secondary and a tertiary sort, perhaps I'd like them by province, and then within each province by city. Then I need to go back to the home ribbon, choose sort and filter, and choose custom sort. Now within the custom sort box, it knows I've sorted by city. It spots that little arrow there. But I want to change that to state province and then add a secondary sort, which will be by city. Now it will sort firstly by the province names. Where there is repetition in the province names, it will then sort by city. I say OK. I now see the provinces are in order, and then within the provinces, so I've got quite a lot of California there, for example, the cities are then in order, A to Z still. And I see that there's 2 Los Angeles and 2 Glendale. I could then perhaps think about adding a tertiary sort. So the 2 Glendale people are then in alphabetical order of surname, possibly. That's sort, custom sort. Let's add a tertiary sort by a last name. Notice it's gone in the wrong place, so I need to move that down so it does them in order. State, province, name. Any duplication, then sort those by city. Any duplication of the city, then sort those by last name. These 2 Glendale should now be in last name order. I can find out by going and have a look at the last name. Carter before Simmons. I still know the sort is in place because there's a little up arrow on that filter icon and on that filter icon and on that filter icon. So the sorting is made pretty simple and pretty quick. Choose your column, A to Z, Z to A. Multiple columns, you need to go back to the home ribbon and choose the custom sort option from the sort and filter drop down. And then in there, you can add as many levels of sorting as your data would require. Filtering, again, that's on the little drop down, so let's go for state, province, name. We have a number of options here. I'm only interested in one province, so I'll take the tick out of select all and place the tick back in California, and I'll then just see Californian people. So the color scheme remains. People's names don't retain the same color, so the person who's in a dark purple won't always be in a dark purple. It will depend on their location in the data. So Bellflower is dark purple here, but once everybody's there, they might be a light purple. The color's not retained, it's just an alternate background color. I know I'm filtered because the row numbers have gone blue, and then down the status bar it says 13 of 100 records found. And there's a little filter icon. So I know I'm filtering by the state province name. So that's a straightforward search. Simply select a single value or multiple. You could have multiple values and you'll see them all from your data. Select all, put everybody back in. Now, alternative to that, you may wish to find those people who've purchased perhaps more than 5,000 in a year. So we go to their drop down, come down to all the individual values. So I could just go through and remove ticks and add ticks to see those that I want, but that could take a while. I've only got 100 records here, but if I had 1,000 or 100,000, instead we go into number filters and say greater than. So the total purchase YTD is greater than 5,000. Okay, that filter is then applied, and I see I've got 44 people have spent more than 5,000. Having applied the filter, I could then add an additional sort, largest to smallest, so then I get them in order of actual spend, but still greater than 5,000. So we see there, somebody in Tasmania spent just over 5,000 to break into this filter. That's a numeric filter, number filters, greater than. You can see little ticks indicate the filter that you've applied, and then I need to click to see what the value is I've entered, just 5,000. Now you will find that the actual filter options vary from data type to data type. If I remove this filter, which I can do by clear filter, that's the quickest way, and then actually choose a country region name filter, you can see that now says text filters. Equals, does not equal, begins with, ends with, contains, does not contain. A lot shorter list of comparisons because it's a text column. If I go for a date column, this one here, we then have a set of date filters. And in here, we get before, after, between. Then we get some clever date-specific filters. Tomorrow, today, yesterday, next week, this week, last week, etc. for month, quarter, and year. Or all dates in a specific period, and you can choose one of the quarters or one of the months. Or we can even go for a custom filter, which then gives us a drop-down list of comparison options. And then on the right, we even have a little calendar date picker option, because we know that this column is all about dates, so it becomes easier if you can then pick dates for a range that you want to see. If I click close here and have a look at the date of birth, which is also a date field, it may be that I'd like to apply a custom filter where the date of birth is after. Now we need to go quite a way back here, so I'm actually going to click and type in rather than choose it, because there's a lot of clicking. I want to go all the way back to 1960 and is before 12/31/1969. Effectively, I'm looking for people who were born in the 60s. Okay, filter is then applied, and actually 22 of my 100 records were born in the 60s, so all of these dates should be in the 60s. I could then sort by oldest to newest, and then I get them effectively in age order. You can see there's a lot of scope when it comes to filtering. A different set of comparisons for each data type. So for a date, for numbers, and for text, you get a slightly different set of comparisons. Once you've applied a filter, you can see which column has the filter on because of the little filter icon, and then you can visit the filter and see that it's a date filter, it's a custom filter. If I want to remove the filter, I simply say clear filter from birth date or the particular column that I'm in. Obviously, you can compound filters as well. Currently, I have everybody from the 60s. If I go into marital status, I could then perhaps just choose M for married, and then I'll see everybody who is married and born in the 60s. So these two filters are compounding, and you will find that the more filters you add, the less and less records you get that match the state of those criteria that you've set. But that might be what you're trying to achieve, particularly with hundreds of thousands of records. You would want to filter things down to the actual result. So we know we can sort our records by any of the columns or any of the multiple columns if we go to custom sort, and we can filter the data down based on any of the columns' data values to restrict how many records we're actually looking at one stage.